Overview and historical significance of Charleston, South Carolina. Charleston, South Carolina, is more than just a city. It is a symbol of the past, present, and future of America. As one of the oldest cities in the United States, it holds a unique place in American history, intertwined with the stories of colonization, the Revolutionary and Civil Wars, and the legacy of slavery. Founded in 1670 as Charlestown in honor of King Charles II of England, Charleston quickly became the heart of the Carolina colony, serving as its first permanent European settlement and the seat of government. Today, Charleston stands as a city of cultural significance, a major port, and a living testament to the country's historical journey. Charleston, a rich colonial and antebellum legacy. When Charlestown was established in 1670, the land on which it sat was rich in resources, particularly timber and fertile soil, which would later play a crucial role in its economic success. Its strategic location, at the confluence of the Ashley and Cooper rivers, made it an ideal port for trade and commerce. Early on, the town attracted settlers from England, as well as other European countries, who sought to profit from the New World's resources. The city grew rapidly, and by the early 18th century, it had become the leading port in the southern colonies. Charleston's commercial success was built on the backs of its enslaved workforce. As the city became a hub for the transatlantic slave trade, during the colonial period, Charleston thrived as a center of trade in rice, indigo, and later, cotton. These crops would become the foundation of the city's wealth and influence. And the plantations that dotted the surrounding landscape were dependent on the forced labor of enslaved Africans. The plantation economy fueled the city's prosperity and shaped its culture, with the elite planter class accumulating wealth and power, while the enslaved African population formed the backbone of Charleston's economy. Charleston's elite built grand mansions, designed in the Georgian and federal architectural styles, many of which still stand today and serve as a poignant reminder of the city's complex past. The city's wealth allowed for the flourishing of art, music, and culture. Charleston became a hub for the Southern aristocracy, with an emerging cultural scene that included classical music, theater, and intellectual discourse. This cultural boom culminated in the antebellum era, which saw Charleston become a symbol of the South's genteel society. With its grand mansions, lush gardens, and refined lifestyle, Charleston was a city that appeared, at least on the surface, to epitomize the glory of the South. Charleston and the Revolutionary War. As with many other Southern cities, Charleston was deeply involved in the American Revolution. The city was a focal point of colonial resistance against British rule and became the site of significant military engagements. In 1776, Charleston was the site of the Siege of Charleston, a brutal and pivotal conflict between American forces and the British military. The British attempted to capture Charleston as part of their strategy to crush the rebellion in the southern colonies, but the American forces successfully repelled them. However, the British did eventually succeed in taking Charleston in 1780, leading to one of the most significant American defeats of the war. Charleston's fall was a blow to the revolutionaries, and the city remained under British control for several years. After the war, Charleston would rebuild, becoming a symbol of American resilience and the newly formed United States' commitment to independence. Charleston and the Civil War, a city divided. Charleston's history would again be marked by war during the Civil War. As the flashpoint of the war, Charleston holds an indelible place in the nation's history. It was in Charleston Harbor, at Fort Sumter, that the first shots of the Civil War were fired on April 12, 1861. This event marked the beginning of 4 years of brutal conflict that would change the course of the nation's future. At the time of the outbreak of the Civil War, Charleston was at the heart of the plantation economy and the institution of slavery. The city's political and economic elites were strong proponents of states' rights and the preservation of slavery, and Charleston played a crucial role in the formation of the Confederate States of America. The secession of South Carolina from the Union in December 1860 made it the first state to break away, and Charleston, as its capital, became a hotbed of pro-Confederate sentiment. The Battle of Fort Sumter would become one of the defining moments of the war, signaling the division of the nation. The Union garrison at Fort Sumter, led by Major Robert Anderson, was surrounded by Confederate forces, and after a relentless bombardment by Confederate artillery, the fort surrendered. This battle would be the catalyst for the United States to engage in the bloodiest war in its history, a war over the future of slavery and the Union. Charleston's antebellum architecture, a living museum despite the destruction of the Civil War. Charleston's legacy as a living museum remains strong today, thanks to its wealth of antebellum architecture. The city is home to many historic homes, churches, and buildings that date back to the colonial and antebellum periods, many of which have been preserved and restored. The city's historic districts, particularly the French Quarter and South of Broad neighborhoods, offer a glimpse into the past, with cobblestone streets, centuries-old mansions, and charming alleyways that have witnessed the city's rise and fall. Charleston's architectural history spans several centuries and features a mix of styles, From Georgian to Carolina Lowcountry to Greek Revival, the famous Rainbow Row, a series of colorful 18th-century homes along the city's waterfront, is one of the most photographed and well-known architectural landmarks. These homes, which were originally built by wealthy merchants and planters, reflect the city's early prosperity and its connection to the sea. Today, Charleston's well-preserved historical sites draw millions of visitors every year, who come to explore its rich cultural heritage, learn about its complex history, and experience its timeless charm. The city's history is not just something to be observed, it is a living, breathing part of the present. The legacy of slavery and the African American experience, Charleston's historical significance is deeply intertwined with the history of slavery. As the center of the slave trade in the American South, the city played a pivotal role in shaping the nation's painful legacy of racism and inequality. Charleston was one of the busiest slave markets in the country, with thousands of enslaved Africans passing through the city as they were sold to plantations across the South. The Gadsden's Wharf site, where many enslaved people were brought ashore, is now the location of the International African American Museum, which serves as a somber reminder of Charleston's role in the transatlantic slave trade. The impact of slavery can still be felt today in Charleston, particularly through its vibrant African American community, which has had a lasting influence on the city's culture, music, and cuisine. From the Gola culture, which developed in the Sea Islands and Lowcountry region, to the rich traditions of African American churches and families, Charleston is home to a proud and resilient African American heritage that continues to shape the city's identity. Modern Charleston, a hub for tourism, culture, and history. Today, Charleston stands as one of the most charming and vibrant cities in the United States. It is a city that embraces both its complex past and its dynamic present. Known for its warm Southern hospitality, world-class restaurants, and vibrant art scene, Charleston is consistently ranked as one of the top travel destinations in the country. The city has embraced its historical significance and now thrives as a tourism hub, attracting visitors from around the world who come to walk the city's storied streets, visit its historic sites, and experience its rich culture. Charleston's thriving food scene, often centered around seafood, barbecue, and Lowcountry cuisine, offers a blend of traditional Southern flavors with a modern twist. Charleston has also become an important center for arts and culture, with a variety of museums, galleries, and theaters that showcase the city's diverse creative community. The city is home to numerous cultural festivals, including the Spoleto Festival USA, which draws world-renowned performers and artists from across the globe. Summary: founded in 1670 as Charlestown, Charleston, South Carolina, is a city with a deep and complex history, from its colonial roots to its pivotal roles in both the Revolutionary War and the Civil War. Charleston's legacy is shaped by triumph, tragedy, and transformation. Today, Charleston stands as a vibrant modern city that continues to embrace its past while looking toward the future. Founding date, 1670, as Charlestown. Key historical roles: colonial capital, major port, site of pivotal Revolutionary and Civil War events. Cultural significance: a well-preserved living museum, with antebellum architecture, African American history, and a vibrant art scene. Modern Charleston, a bustling hub for tourism, culture, and history, offering a mix of historic exploration and contemporary Southern living.